Okay, hello, welcome. We're here for The Last of Us episode 2 now. I actually like this episode a whole lot more than the first. Not that I didn't like the first episode. The pilot was alright. It's just there was something wrong about it that I couldn't really pinpoint what was wrong with it. But I think this episode really sets the tone for the series going forward. It's really good. It's really intense. There's a lot of good dialogue scenes. Adaptation wise, there are a lot of scenes literally just one for one adapted from the game. It's kind of crazy how they did that. Which is, we'll discuss that a little bit. I wanted to discuss in the adaptation wise, how are they going to handle our characters, those scenes from the games, and how would it translate into this show. So far, it's being done very well, and it's a two for two for this first episode and now the second episode. Very well done. It's not your average zombie story. It's a very character driven story. People are having worries about that, but I think this is a good showing for the rest of the series. Now we'll get into the episode. Adaptation wise, I noticed that some people were upset about the filler that was in the first episode. I've been watching some reviews and stuff. And I was I can understand why you might not like it. I like this particular world building aspect of the filler. So in the first scene here, we're getting another flashback. The first outbreak. It's in Indonesia. Now this is mentioned in the game that Indonesia was the people where the first outbreak started, and it's implied that the cordyceps or the mushrooms got into our food supply, and then someone eats it, and then someone else eats it, and then the infection spreads, and it spreads onward and so forth. And now in this flashback, it's not known really who is patient zero. So I like the intensity of the scenes when the mycology woman is realizing that we have no way of locating who infected this woman with the cordyceps, and it's the dead woman on the autopsy table now, and she's just immediately, oh, we have to bomb the city, we have to kill everyone. That's nuts. You can see the fear in her voice. She's bring me back to my family, please. I want to be with them. Because this is the start of the outbreak, and she knows there's no way to make a cure or vaccine. It's maybe not very subtle about how this flashback relates to the present in time right now with Ellie and Joel. How Ellie is immune, and how what's gonna happen, with the virus there, what's gonna happen in the future, how are they gonna create a cure, right, with Ellie, basically, if you played the games. So I don't want to get too heavy into spoilers actually, because I do believe this show is specifically for normies who have not played the game. It's gonna be for adults who don't like the game. But I also hope that we get more flashbacks, that world building aspects of stuff with our characters even, or we can go into other countries and see how they handle the virus. That would be cool. Just little intense scenes that really showcase how terrifying this virus is. This episode does a good job of illustrating just how humanity could have been on the brink of destruction. Not like other zombie movies where the zombies are slow. No, this virus really affects the human body in different ways, and it's threatening to people, and you can see how humanity just fucking collapsed under itself with the destruction of this virus. Now we get where we left off back on this episode. Joel, Tess, and Ellie, they found a safe haven. They're watching Ellie. We're very concerned about her, that she's infected, but she's not turning, so they don't really understand what's going on, which is understandable because they're scared about how are they gonna get their bat. They have a goal. Ellie's not really part of the goal yet. She's just the person they have to deliver to get their goal, and it's they don't want to be in danger. They're in a dangerous place, so it makes complete sense. There's a lot of good dialogue. I was actually worried in between, how would they do these in between scenes, before the action scenes, right? When you're in the game and you're doing all these obstacles and you're doing these puzzle-ish things to get through to the goal that you need to go to. So in this episode, Tess, Joel, and Ellie all walking through the city trying to get to their rendezvous point with the Fireflies so they can get their battery, they can get their car, they can get their supplies, so they can go find Tommy. There's a nice flowing plot going through there, and there's some a good dialogue going through these scenes where we're getting a lot more interaction between our characters now. Now, people still have and I understand this. People still have misgivings about Lady Mormont, Bella Ramsey playing Ellie, and I can understand that. Her character, I think she does a much better job portraying Ellie in this episode in particular. But there's still some like scenes there where she's acting more like Last of Us 2 Ellie rather than Last of Us 1 Ellie. Well, even if you've played both games, you know that Last of Us 2 Ellie is a lot more hostile than the one we're supposed to be getting now. This Ellie's supposed to be a lot more innocent and a lot more survivors guilty about things that are happening in the story. That it's I don't know. It's weird, right? But I'm okay with her acting. Her acting's on point, right? Same with Pedro Pascal. Same with the person who's playing Tess, and they're really carrying this episode. It's really just those three for this episode, and it's gonna be those three for a while. Well, no, not those three. Sorry, spoilers. Tess does die in this episode. Her death in the game is a bit different than the show right now. Her death is a lot less ceremonious. She goes out with like a big bang in this episode. We'll talk about it soon. But I do like the dialogue that happens, and we get like dialogue that's one for one for the game, like literally. So it might be like Neil's like little treat to the fans, I guess, where literally it's just the same dialogue and the same like scenery from the game. And the budget of this show is like nuts too. Like I can believe that they're actually like in Boston in this ruined city. I was looking at like trying to see like, oh, these city plates real? Are these cars? These cars are like from 2003, where they like supposed to be, right? You don't want to have like super like high Nissans or minivans or Corvettes like in this show, right? Because it wouldn't make sense because it's a destroyed city from 2003. So all that stuff is really good. They're doing a really good job. So we get through that. We get through them like doing the obstacles, and we have our good dialogue and really trying to get our characters to like each other. Ellie and Joel are still not like quite meshing well together. There's something there, but it's not being fully fleshed out. So I can see some people like getting upset of like the hotel scene. It seems like Ellie's just a little too hostile at this point, right? She's not technically supposed to be this hostile right now. But I don't know. It might be like Neil Druckmann, because he did direct this episode. It might be his way of like retconning some things to go into direction that he wanted, trying to go into that direction of Last of Us 2. That might be like worries that people are having. I have that worry as well. We don't want to find out any, scientists that save zebras, right? Game guys will understand, what I'm saying. Okay, then we get to like our mechanical scenes, right? So in this series, this is like a difference of mechanical issues that are different from the game. So they got rid of the spores. So if you don't know what spores are another side of the infection that the fungi produce, which basically make you infected. Now they've switched it up now. There's a different mechanic. I'm glad they got it like out of the way here though. They set it up nicely. And it makes sense because there's a payoff with it at the end of the episode. So now the fungi is almost a wire-like substance that's connected to all the infected. It's connected to the runners, to the clickers, to the bloaters, and it's like a hive mind system. Almost like bees, right? How the drones are connected to the queen. Now these like fungi wires are attached to all like the living, running, and infected. And if you kill one in one section, and he's attached to like living fungi water, and this stuff like burrows underground, and apparently it's everywhere, and it's like really everywhere. Now there are like sections of this like living fungi that's dead, and you can maybe like hurt an infected on it, or just destroy it, and it won't like alert any of the runners. But if you hurt a runner that's infected with this wire-like substance, all the other runners in the vicinity are going to know that you did something, like you destroyed that. Let's go and destroy that thing that destroyed us. Like the hive mind, right? Almost like even more like the Borg or something, but like fungi. So I'm okay with this mechanic. I'm okay with this change. They did it now in episode 2, explaining it to a character that doesn't know anything about it, even though she probably should, because she's been in school, right? There was a weird scene there where Ellie was like, I'm in school, I know this stuff, but she doesn't know about clickers. She doesn't know about this wire that infects everything, underground, and it's connected everywhere. Maybe that like piece of dialogue could have been done better in the scene, but I'm okay with this mechanical change. They obviously, I think the reason they don't want the spores is because they don't want their actors to be wearing gas masks all the time. They want to be, we want to be able to see Pedro Pascal. We want to be able to see Bella Ramsey. Want to be able to see Bill. Um, Parks and Recs guy, and we want to be able to see these characters, what they're doing, these actors, and how they're portraying these characters. So I'm okay with that character change. Mechanical change. I don't mind it. Now we get into like really the meat of the episode is like the last half of it where they enter the museum and the intensity is just cranked to 11. I'm really like catching those Neil vibes and how he directed this episode. Tonally, this was a really good scene when they're walking up the stairs and you get to see all the dead infected everywhere, and then we get to our point with the clickers and how they're just even two clickers is just such a challenge for like two veteran people that have been living in this world for 20 years to deal with. Yes, this is good. It's like it shows that these like they're not just regular zombies. So if people have like misgivings if you don't know about the games, cuz it's not about like even the zombies. It's about our characters and what they're doing. But these like it makes sense how disinfection could like topple humanity when like these veterans are having such a hard time fighting these things because they're so powerful and they're like inhuman. They take damage differently than any human could. And obviously it shows when Tess gets bitten. And we see in the episode Tess dies. There's a funny scene in Tess's big blowout when one of the like runners just makes out with her and like infects her with like the mushroom from its mouth. They've shown that like the mushroom, like I guess it's how they spread the infection in some ways, just from the mouth. How the fungus comes out. It's a pretty funny scene. And then Tess blows everyone up with the grenades and the gas because they go to where the rendezvous point is with the fireflies and they aren't there. They're all dead. It was a bad scene where the infected got in and the living killed the dead and the dead killed the living. Stuff like that. They all died. Now Joel is on with Ellie by himself because Tess is dead, and we're gonna go to Bill's. It's supposed to be like go find Tommy, not directly go to Bill. Bill was like sort of a side mission in The Last of Us. Like they just like sort of happened upon him. They weren't like it wasn't their goal to go to Bill. It was the goal to find Tommy because Tommy in the games was a member of the Fireflies. We're not sure if he is in this series yet because we haven't seen him outside of episode 1. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll get a flashback of Bill. I would be okay with that. That would be cool. Maybe I hope I think this I enjoy what's happening in the show right now. There's really a lot of good tense tonal scenes here that really get you invested into the show. There's a lot of good dialogue that gets you invested into our characters. The plot is moving smoothly in a nice way that makes sense. It's not, and after, maybe it's not perfect, but after watching so many different shows lately that have just been so horrible and so bad, it's a breath of fresh air to finally, like, get into something where our actors seem like they're having fun on the show, right? With our characters and what's happening. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I can understand why some game people, adaptation wise, they might get mad. They don't like our actors. They don't like the way the plot's going. They don't like the characters. I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it's going we're in a strong spot right now. There are worries that it could fuck up later. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's a bit too early to see like how that's gonna happen. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Tell me what you guys think. All right, I'm done rambling, you guys. Have a nice day. See ya.